thank God I didn't win, because if I'd have won, I'd have lost it in the next defense.
Yes.
Because once I became champion, I know being world champion, it comes with a responsibility. And
Yes,
the thing is, so you got to be careful what you wish for.
Yes.
So if you want to be British champion, European champion, world champion, it comes with a responsibility.
Come on, talk on this.
And that responsibility, once you pick that up, you know, people need to understand. It's not just, yes, I've done, your belly's full, you become complacent. That's when the battles begin. So, and that's why I say, it's a thin line between success and failure. But when you step over that line of success and think, is that it? I can never tell you what it is. I can never explain to you what it is or how it's done. But when you're there, you think, all right. But then the hard work starts once you're champion.
Johnny.
The man called Johnny.
I love you so bad.
Hey! Come on. Hold on. Let me just do this thing properly. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight on The Fight Is Right, the first ever edition since COVID-19, we have the one, the only, Johnny Nelson. Come on, Sky Smooths, Mr. Sky Smooths. That's what we're calling him, Mr. Sky Smooths.
He is going to be Mr. Sky Sports now, but he's Black Lives Matter. I'll tell you that now for nothing.
Hey, come on. So what's Spence guy? Fire away, Phil. Because I'm me personally. This is an honor for me because Johnny is, and I'll say this, Johnny's one of the guys I look up to in the sport of boxing. You know, a man that finished his career untarnished, properly coherent, and able to speak on the sport in a very intelligent and intellectual and articulate way.
And also,
come on,
may add, Johnny's got one big house, you know.
Come on, yeah. What's the matter, Johnny? What's the matter with Spencer? What's the matter with him? He always has to go too far.
So Johnny's not.
I can't take credit for that. That's my ex-wife. She was the one that was the sensible one. I was the foolish one. I'd have given money away and spent like a fool, but she was the sensible one. Said, no, we're doing this. I was cussing at the time, but I always give her props.
I know. You know Debbie, you always big up baby after the fight. Debbie,
we're actually next door neighbours. Me and my ex-wife, we're actually next door neighbours.
I know. You're renting from her now. I heard. Don't worry about it.
We fighting.
Bro, you should have done the prenup.
Yeah, he could have signed on prenup. Johnny's got 2 beautiful kids from her. He's got 3 beautiful children. God bless Johnny Nelson. Because
no, hold on, Johnny. What was that thing I see you do? You know the music thing, and you swap and you putting on.
Nah, I don't know about that, man.
The cuss I got from my mom. My mom give me a right cuss. She said, "Wait, that way your daughter's clothes now. What is this you bring? Champ and the family." I was, "No, mom, it's just a joke. Joke. What joke that? What joke that? You're sleeping." I'm like, "Oh God, I got cussed out."
Johnny. May I say that was an excellent Scottish accent.
Come on, do you know what? I didn't, because of me. I'm too in my own mode. Spencer phoned me. He's like, Tun. He's like, Tun. Johnny Nelson has lost it.
Yeah, I got this story.
I said, what are you talking about? He said, Tun, go watch this video. I said, Johnny, but we look good in a skirt though, you know.
You know what? My older brother, he's always been a bit of a shit stirrer. And so he showed it my mum, because my mum's not on social media. So he has to go and take it and show it just to cause tribulation. And he was just sat there laughing when she's cussing me out. I'm like, you know, I just got to swallow. Just how it is.
But let's get to the real talk. It's boxing talk, and I know Spencer's been firing, ready to ask certain questions. So go away, Spence.
You know what? Looking back in Johnny Nelson's career, right? What would you say was the highlight? Because I watched you live, you know that. I watched you live. I watched you live, and I'm gonna tell you when it was. It was April 1989 when you became British champion.
Come on.
In the tent on the undercard of Nigel Benn versus Michael Watson.
Jeez, wait there.
Wow.
Let me just tell you, you do know Spencer Fearon was at Rocky Marciano's fight as well. This guy's everywhere. This guy's everywhere.
I'm telling you, this. You know what, Spencer? You know more about my career than I do. Because sometimes you tell me, I forgot about that fight. But that one there, it was in Finsbury Park in the tent, circus tent. Michael Watson, against Nigel Benn. I can remember we got weighed in some pub upstairs. I can't remember the name of the pub we got weighed in. And Nigel Benn came outside. He came to the weigh-in in a white Porsche 911.
Yeah.
And then my man, as he weighed in, he left to go to the hairdressers, but he went up and down the road doing donuts up and down the road. The cops were there and everything. They didn't do anything, and I'm studying. Remember, I'm a Yorkshire boy. I'm down there thinking, why these boys run things down here? Police not doing none.
Yeah.
And my man donating round in the street, boof, gone. Spent 4 hours in the hairdressers.
Wow.
But it was that was like a film set. But yeah, that's a long time. Yesterday, that is.
It was because that fight was actually a Sunday night. So
yeah.
Sunday night.
Yeah. Hold on. Listen, this is why. Sorry, Johnny. This is why I call him the knowledge, because this man, he's an insane. He knows, Johnny. How does he do it? He knows dates.
I don't know.
Venues.
And the thing is,
go on.
I call him a knowledge bully because whatever subject you're on, he'll twist you up on it. He'll twist you up on it and make you look stupid on it. So you got to be careful how you talk to him.
Yeah,
so you can't even hijack him with a conversation because it's like he's got a little pocketbook saying, "Yeah, I'm ready."
Telling you.
Right, yeah.
I'm telling you, I grew up with this boy, and I'm saying that from the beginning. I said, "Listen, you got a talent there, mate. You got a talent there, and he
amazing talent.
Yeah, but
amazing talent."
So, it was Strawn that you boxed for the
Andy Strawn.
Andy Strawn for the Andy Strawn was a very class boxer, you know. Mm-hmm. A very class boxer. He lost, I think it was a year before. It was a year or 2 years, 2 years before. I think it was 87 or 88. I think it was 88. He lost to TJ. He got stopped by TJ. And the madness of that, it was like Nigel Benn was on the undercard of that fight, right? Mm-hmm. And so Nigel Benn was just coming up then, right? But Nigel Benn was fighting so regular. And when you fought for the British title, what was going through your mind when you actually won it?
Well, in the build-up to it, Brendan, wicked trainer, clever guy, inside man and everything. He just knew all about the game, and he was all more mental warfare. And he said Andy Strawn will be used as Nigel Benn's sparring partner. So the attention will not be on Andy Strawn. So he'll be getting beat up, he'll have bad days when he's going to the gym, and they'll not be concentrating on him, they'll be concentrating on Nigel. So his head will be done in. So he's not coming in the ring completely confident. His head will be done in because it's all about Nigel. And he was spot on right. He said, you've got to frustrate him. Make him make a mistake. When he makes a mistake, then get him. Take your time. Don't care what the crowd are saying. Frustrate him. Make him make a mistake because this guy can punch and he's on point. So you've got to make him make a mistake. He was spot on right. The fight wasn't that exciting, and I knew he was heavy-handed, but I needed him to lunge and make a mistake. And so going into it, when you're boxing for the British title, to me, I didn't want to box to get nuts. I was fighting 5 fights at a time. That's what I was saying. 5 fights and I'm done. I'll go and get a job or something like that. So when it came to boxing for the British title, I thought, me boxing for the British title. But the difference between boxing it and winning it, most fighters, that's what they want to do. They want to be British champions. Some fighters want to be Commonwealth. Some fighters want to be European. Some fighters want to be world. Some fighters want to unify and go on forever and a day.
Yes.
And you can always tell by how they win that title. And when I won the British title, it just seemed, I thought, is that it? Nah, there's got to be a bit more to this. So I was nowhere near quenching my thirst when that happened. So I knew, in hindsight, I knew I was big. I was destined for bigger things. But at the time, I didn't have the confidence to match my ability.
Okay.
And Brendan was like, I was blind and he was the guide dog. He's saying, this is what we're doing. I'm like, why? Why are we doing this? So I had no idea what path he had set out for me.
Of course, because 2 fights later, you were challenging for the WBC world title, and what was he
Carlos
back?
De Leon.
Carlos De Leon.
Carlos De Leon. Let me tell you about that. Was that March of
January?
Was it January of 90? It was so early, right?
No, it was early in the year. It was early, and you know what? In the
My apologies. Lloyd Hunnigan boxed Mark Breland in March that year.
What is wrong with you, man?
What?
Jesus!
All right, sorry. Yeah. Sorry, brother. But yeah.
The knowledge.
Yeah. But I remember that fight with Carlos De Leon.
Yeah. I was a boy in the man's body.
Yeah, but
it was the best thing.
You was 23 then?
It was the best thing that could have happened to me, but the worst thing at the time in my life. Because at the time, I saw the twist of human nature. I was always a mummy's boy, and all of a sudden I was just thrown out into the wild world because people were just mean. You know what I mean? I was naive. I was stupid. I was like, and you know what? God willing, thank God I didn't win, because if I had won, I'd have lost it in the next defense.
Yes.
Because once I became champion, I know being world champion, it comes with a responsibility. And
Yes,
the thing is, so you've got to be careful what you wish for.
Yes.
So if you want to be British champion, European champion, world champion, it comes with a responsibility.
Come on, talk on this.
And that responsibility, once you pick that up, you know, people need to understand. It's not just, yes, I've done, your belly's full, you become complacent. That's when the battles begin. So, and that's why I say it's a thin line between success and failure. But
Yes,
when
sir.
you step over that line of success, you think, is that it? I can never tell you what it is. I can never explain to you what it is or how it's done. But when you're there, you think, all right. But then the hard work starts once you're champion.
Yes.
And I knew I was a boy in a man's body. So if I'd have beat Carl Thompson for the WBC title, I'd have probably lost it in my next defense or defense after that. So that set me up mentally, emotionally, for the future. 10 years down the line, I actually won the title. So it set me up for the future to say, all right, now you're ready. Now you got your big pants on.
Well, the thing about it is this, is like in the Carlos de Leon fight, it was given a draw, and a lot of people, like, I would have to say that could have been, and this is why you have to be commended, because you got to think, when you turn professional, you lost a couple fights early, straight off the bat, you lost a couple fights.
3.
Right, 3 on the trot, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you kept on going, right? The Carlos de Leon fight, and the reason why I remember the time,
Sorry, I have to cut you there.
Go on.
Again, Johnny Nelson, the reason why, listen, all these young professionals out there, a lot of them are afraid to lose their O. Johnny Nelson lost his first 3 professional fights. Serious. Carry on, Spence.
Right? And when you box in that fight, in a Carlos de Leon fight, the reason why I remember, because do you remember Smoothie from Brixton?
Yeah, come on.
Smoothie, Smoothie. There's a guy called Smoothie. A guy called Smoothie from Brixton who's like my age, and Smoothie then had what was it? His 16th birthday party. Yeah, and that was a said night. And I had to lie to my parents and say, like, one of my close mates, we called him Country, like his mom and dad were having some gathering at his house. I could sneak out to go to this party in Brixton, right? So we watched your fight. I remember Jim Watt slating you. This is the worst performance ever.
I remember that.
But because it was not going to be real. I said Johnny Nelson should be a multi-millionaire because you found the cure for insomnia. Because if somebody can't go to sleep at night, just watch Johnny Nelson, Carlos de Leon, January 1990, and you will go to sleep, brother.
Yeah.
But it was one of those fights. But this is what I'm trying to say. This is why I got to say, right, respect to Johnny Nelson, because that could have broken you, you know that.
Yeah, because I remember when I came into boxing, people was talking about Johnny Nelson, how I mean, you're gonna tell us because you're here on the show, Johnny. But from what I heard, is like people back home was like, no, that's it. We're not gonna promote Johnny's. Yeah. Was that the case?
That was the case. That was true. Promoters, they publicly said, I do not want Johnny Nelson on my bill.
Wow.
Promoters said that. You know how much that hurt.
Wow.
They came out and I thought, what you calling my name for? They said, don't want him. And so it was their chance to stick the boot in. When I got the draw with Leon, remember I got a draw, you know, even though it stunk, I got a draw with the little experience I had. But then when I got the draw with him, then you'd look at a newspaper and you'd see all the you know, usually when you read a newspaper, you see a little cartoon there, it's a joke about somebody or something.
Yes.
Now until it's about yourself, then you realise when you write things in the paper, you've got to remember it's someone's brother, sister, mother, father, son. And it hurts, man.
Come on.
No matter what, it hurts. You are the butt of the joke. And not just jokes. When one person says you're a coward,
yes,
it hurts. When 2, 3, 4, 1,000 people are saying it, and every time they talk your name, they put your name attached to it, you actually start to believe what people are saying. You actually start to buy into thinking, well, maybe I am. And what I realized was I was not a coward. I just mistook nerves for fear. So because I was a nervous kid, you know, I thought I was scared, and that was what the problem was.
How did you counteract it? How did you counteract that to where you eventually got to?
The best. Well, Brendan again. I was a blind man. Brendan was the guide dog, and he basically said, "Look, if you stick by me, you'll end up being world champion." And I will tell you the truth. I thought he was a pure madman. So everybody was twisting me up, telling me how rubbish I was, and I wasn't going to do nothing. Telling Brendan, "You want to kick him out of the gym? This kid's no good. He's bringing embarrassment on the gym." And Brendan had built up a reputation of champions out of that gym in Sheffield. He's the birthplace of boxing in Sheffield. And his reputation, I tarnished his reputation for that period. And the man still stuck by me tight. And that's why I love him. I love him to the max because everybody walked free. Everybody turned their back on me. So when it came to cracking that, he keep reciting history, and he'd be talking about Genghis Khan, he'd be talking about Marcus Aurelius, he'd be talking about Jack Johnson, he'd be talking about everything. I'm thinking, why are you telling me this? So we'd walk and he'd talk and he'd be telling me, just going through history, and basically every story he's telling me, at the end of it, say, same story, different actors. It's history repeating himself. Yes, so remember, these people, what we're reading about, these people that made history, they are just people like you are. You are making history, and this, you're just going through your story, your past. So I'm like, Bren, you know what? This is really helping. But you know what? Looking back on it, it was a proper mental brainwash in a positive way. Because this man made me believe in myself, and the best thing he did was he sent me away as a sparring partner. And as a sparring partner, I spent more or less 7 years on the road in Germany, France, Italy, staying in dirty little bedsits. I mean, dirty with that dirty bedsits. And so you've got to want it. You go there, say for instance, when you went to Germany, they put you on a 3-month ticket, and they pick you up at Berlin in the airport. They drive you down to the border of Poland, and that's where you were. Now, if you decided you wanted to come home, you'd had enough, because every day was like a fight. You couldn't. So if you decided to go home, you have to find your way from Poland to the airport in Berlin. You remember, you ain't got paid, and then you have to, and your ticket, you couldn't cash it in. You have to buy a new ticket to get home, so it actually cost you to be out there. And so when you were there, you were more or less stuck there. And I thought, you are never going to break me. So there was a stubbornness in me that said, John, you can't do this, because if you walk away, it's going to affect every aspect of your life, not just boxing, relationships, jobs, everything. I've got to stick it out for me. Yes. And it was the best thing I did, because and I will always advise every young fighter I hear, you've got to do it. Go away as a sparring partner. Don't go to Birmingham or Manchester. I mean, go away. Get on a plane and be by yourself. Make your way over there and be there by yourself and learn the hard way, because that will give you such a steely determination inside to say, you know what, I've boxed all shapes and sizes, people that have represented their country at the best in the world. If I can home with them, what chance of them domestic level people got with me? And so my confidence was building time and time again. And the best place to send me to was Germany, because I was sparring with the elite. Axel Schultz, who boxed George Foreman. Henry Mas. In France, I'd go to box with Fabrice Tayosa. These guys were world champions, amateurs and professionals, when I was dealing with them. And I was holding my own, if not getting the better of them. And so it was a mental job. It wasn't a physical job. Yes. And so I'd look back, and the penny drop for me was when I came out the gym after I'd been sparring with Fabrice Tayosa, world light heavyweight champion. I'd give my right beating. And a proper beating in the gym. But
he
Brendan
just
always
beat Mike
said,
McCullum for the WBC title.
See that? Yeah. So Brendan said to me, he said, Johnny, do not beat them up. Because if you beat them up, you get the sack. And if you get the sack, if there becomes a chance of you fighting them, they're not going to fight you because they know what you can do. Yes. So the maximum strength is if you can beat a man up and he's don't even know he's getting beaten up. It's like watching Bruce Lee when he's doing the drunken master. Pop, sorry. So you got to ride the shots and hit him with a shot thinking, wow, that's easy, but you got to style it out. Yes. And that was how I was sparring most of the time, as though they're thinking, I've got him. Oh, that was a lucky shot. And they didn't give me credit for what I was doing, and I was holding back. And I told Brendan every night, Brian, I'm telling you I can do this. But he said, you behave yourself. Do not beat them up. Every night, do not beat them up. Behave yourself, Johnny. So I don't know if you believe me or not. It came to fruition once, eventually, when I had to box for the European title for the second time. Yes. And I was telling him every night, I'm dealing with this guy, Bren. And he said, well, Terry Johnson's pulled out 2 days before the fight. It's yours if you want. I said, boom, done. Got the guy in 7 rounds. This guy thought he was beating me all this time. But anyway, back to Fabrice. So I spotted this Fabrice in France, and we come out. It's raining. I saw a white stretch limousine outside. I saw this beautiful mixed race girl sat in the car outside. She was beautiful. In this white stretch limousine, chauffeur driven. She got a little white poodle on the lap. I'm like, hey, I've been out there a few weeks, you know. I'm like, boy, and she smiled back. Who's that? So I'm just about to cross the road, and Fabrice came out. The guy I'd just been sworn with and dealt with, that was his woman. and got in the car with her, and I see them drive off into the, it's raining. I see them drive off. I'm thinking, oh, what, really? So I just dealt with him, and I'm going to this dirty little bedsit across the road, and he's driving off in a chauffeur-driven stretch limo with a beautiful woman, and that's when
the poodle, don't forget the poodle,
and the poodle,
yes,
and that's when the penny dropped for me, and I said, nah, that's not right, I ain't having that, and that's when the penny dropped. I believed the difference he and I was that he could perform in public, and I couldn't.
Yes,
but from that day onwards, I knew what I was capable of doing. Up to that point, I was believing what was said about me. Johnny Nelson, the coward, this, that, and the other. But that day on, I thought, you're an idiot, Johnny. It's your own fault. If you don't succeed, you've got nobody to blame. You've been through every aspect of our fight game. So if you don't succeed, the only person you blame is you and nothing else. And that was it. And that's why a lot of fights, to me, that's what you should do. Get away, go away. Buy yourself as a sparring partner. It makes you want it, and it makes you learn.
What a story. Jesus Christ. Listen, we're selling that story. They sell everything nowadays. eBay. We have to sell. Bro, they're selling people's You see Crystal shows?
Yeah.
They're selling she said, what? I'm not giving no more autographs because they're selling my autograph on eBay. That story, what you just told to the fighters.
We're shotting it.
Yeah, we're rotating. We're shotting it. But fantastic, Johnny. That was
what's the food like? 10 out of 10.
God, behave yourself now, Spence. That's what I'm telling Johnny. You see what I'm saying about Spencer? He always takes it down the road. He takes it to the road.
I know. He'll just give you a back end of compliment. We'll finish off with a big
But I'll be honest with you. That was a very, very good insight, and I feel fighters can learn from you. There was a young man that was on before you, Umar Sadiq, and he was talking about listening. As a young fighter, listening to guys that are more experienced, and the fact that he listened, he feels that's what has made him progress. And stories like the one you just told, invaluable. And thank you for your time. And any more?
Yeah, man,
we can't lay down. Carry on.
When Johnny Nelson beat Carl Thompson,
yes, what a fight!
What a fight!
Come on, touch on that.
When you beat Carl Thompson,
Carl Thompson was like, I want one. Carl Thompson couldn't believe it. He's like, bro, what, you mean the fight stopped? Johnny's like, come on, man.
Kind of like a wet look kind of thing.
Yeah, some Jericho Rastaman business.
But it never really curled though. The relaxer product of the cold.
Go. Talk, Johnny. Talk, man.
But that fight wasn't just in the ring. The fight was outside the ring as well.
Yeah, it's a beef.
And I used to be a fan of Carl Thompson. And whenever he talks about it now, you go on YouTube. Yeah, I think he spoke about the fight 2 years ago. He still balls when he talks about the fight because it still hurts him that much. He's one of those guys that wears his heart on his sleeve.
Yes.
And I rated him. Before we even boxed, I said to my boys, come, let's go watch this guy. He's bad. And he's a proper warmonger. I'm rating him. And then when it comes to fighting, I understood that he was tough. And even guys in my own gym said, you sure you can pull this off? I'm like, what? And I couldn't see what they could see because now I believed in my product, which is me.
Yes.
So the only person, the other person that believed in me 100% was Brendan.
Yes.
So and remember, up to that point, I'd not boxed, I think it was 13 months. And so, because I was European champion, nobody would fight me. And Carl had boxed Chris Eubank twice, and I was on the sideline. And Brendan didn't want me to box anybody else because we had a fight called Jonathan Saxton that was lined up to box for the world title.
Yeah,
he ended up boxing somebody else. And Brendan said, no way, you've got a world title fight next. He ended up fighting somebody else and getting turned over, and Brendan said, "No."
Was that Emmanuel Augustus?
Emmanuel Augustus. I boxed on the undercard.
Bro, the drunken master, bro. He gave Floyd Mayweather nightmares.
That's right.
I remember.
That's right. And Paddy Byrne had said to Brendan. Paddy Byrne was a matchmaker, and he and Brendan were friends. And Brendan fell out with Paddy Byrne after that because Paddy Byrne said, "No, it's an easy fight for Jonathan. I'll do him easy."
Yeah, easy.
And Brendan always went to him to say, "Like, he's just a good fight, and he said, "Yeah, he'll win it easy." Anyway, Jonathan got turned over, so Brendan then fell out. And so Brendan didn't want to make the same mistake again. He said, "Johnny, you are not going to fight until the world title fight." I said, "Brendan, I'm not having any money." And he gave me £250 a week. He said, "And if you tell anybody I'm giving you this, I'm going to stop giving it to you and I want it back."
Wow.
I'm like, what? He said, "Now live on that." Jesus. And I thought, you know what? This man is not doing this for a slap on the back to say, look how good Brendan is. He never said a word. And he didn't know. We didn't have a date when I was fighting. Every week, boom, £250, boom, £250, boom, to live off.
Serious.
Every week. This is coming to a Carl Thompson fight. And I'm thinking, what? Really? And this guy said, "Remember, if you tell anybody, it stops and I want it all back."
Wow.
So he didn't want me to fight. He wanted me to wait until the world title fight came. So when it came to fighting Carl Thompson, I remember a few years before we were fighting each other, we used to go to a club in Warrington called Mr. Smith. And he was a wicked dancer, bad piece of dancer, Carl. And I used to see him in the club. I thought, all right. But we didn't know each other then. But there was a girl I was seeing lived over that side of town. And she knew him. She said, "Oh, there's a guy over there. He said he boxes and he knows who you are." He didn't know who I was because I was opposite him. He didn't know who I was. And but every time we kept trying to chat up, so, all right, left it. Anyway, it came to our fight now. So I knew. So you got to get a little bit of background of your opponent. I knew a bit about Carl. I thought, I've got to get this guy to hate me. Because if he hates me, he's not going to think straight. He's not going to think about what he's learned to do in the gym. This many shots in this round for this conversation, second round, take your time. I want him to just want to rip my head off. So I've got to get him vexed. And you see that now. A lot of guys are trying to get in under each other's skin.
Yes.
They got a face to wind each other up. So with Carl, we sat at the press conference. It was me, John Ingle. Carl was sat there with Billy Graham. I don't know where Brendan was. I think Brendan was talking to Frank. So I was waiting for him to come and sit down. I said, loud enough for Carl to hear, but not loud enough to think you think I was talking to him. But I was talking to John. Yeah, there's a club over here called...
Wicked,
so straight away, these are going to pick up.
Yes.
I know that place. That's my patch. And I met this... I thought this bear that was down there. I think Cynthia. So I can't remember the name of his woman, but it was his woman's name. I'd never met his woman in my life, but I knew her name. Right, I think this girl, what's her name? I think it was Cynthia, something like that.
Oh my goodness!
Carl's ears picking up, you can see him twisting everything. What? And then I just leapt forward and just started whispering to John. So just to mad him up a little bit, and you can see Carl thinking. So when it comes to fight time, we're very sensitive.
Absolutely.
And so we're very paranoid about everything and everybody. So I'm going to get him to think in his head that I've been talking to his girl in the club on his doorstep, and his girl told it. Right, so next week Carl stands up. I seen him in the corner on the phone, and his head's going like mad on the phone. And I can imagine him and his girl was having a right
a big argument. Lovely psychological warfare.
Yes, your devil, you. Anyway, came back, sat down. He was back. I thought, I've got him.
We got him.
And so when it came to the fight, I knew that he'd been sparring with guys that my friends never told me. He'd been sparring with Harold Graham. He'd been sparring with Paul Silky Jones in preparation for me. And
that Winkerback style.
I'm thinking, weird. And that man didn't tell me until after the fight. I'm thinking, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you give me? I didn't need help. Why didn't you tell me? So when it came to the fight, the one thing I knew that Carl wouldn't be fitter than me, no matter what, because I did everything. I trained to failure to the point where I'm sticking up in the gym. So when it came to the fight, I thought, I'm not going to... Everybody said Johnny Nelson is running this, that. And I went, all right, no problem. Because as far as I was concerned, I wasn't going to get a full chance. That was me done. If I didn't win that, I'm done.
Yes.
That was and I know it's a stupid thing to say, but I was willing to die that night. Because I thought, and in hindsight, I think, idiot. But that's the commitment I had.
Come on.
You've got to stretch him out of this place. So if you look on YouTube, I come out, and I love coming out first. The privilege of that had gone once you become world champion. And I come out first, and then Carl comes out. And if you look at Carl when he comes out, he's got that mean look on his face, that mad look on his face, and he looks up. And if the camera just to turn around, you'd have seen me stood on a neutral corner post, shouting, "Come on, you're coughing!" I'm coughing out. He's yeah. I'm not joining out. Come on, get in here! And I'm stood on the corner post. So what I want to see when he comes out, the first thing he sees is me.
A shot, yes.
When he looks up there, and I look twice as big because I'm high in the ring and everything. So it's about, but slowly but slowly, chipping away at that confidence, chipping away at that confidence you've got to think, you know what, this guy, I hate this guy. Look at him, he's not even backing off it. So I've gone to think about me more than thinking about himself. So by the time he got in the ring, he's now thinking about me more than he's thinking about himself. He's thinking about all the hatred he's got for me and this guy. So all his tactics have gone. Yes. So when they stopped the fight, I personally think we shouldn't have stopped it then. But I knew I would have stopped it. And afterwards, Billy Graham said to me, Johnny, I said to Carl afterwards, you can jump box Johnny now for 100 times. You might beat him once out of 100. And that was his own trainer telling me that. He said, you just have everything too much, man. I knew that. Carl was tough. And in hindsight, I know Carl thinks the fight shouldn't have been stopped. But he'd have got broke up. That's number one. Number two, the guys I fought afterwards to defend my title, I know they'd have broke him up. Because Ezra Sellers, I beat Ezra Sellers. Ezra Sellers and Carl had a proper ding-dong.
That was a
serious fight. Yeah. And you knocked Sellers out.
I knocked Sellers, and Sellers put me down. He hit me. The guy could hit. He hit me with the top of the head. It felt like it broke my neck. And I'm like, shit. And I got up and I'm smiling to myself. Shit.
Broke his neck. Just.
It was on the top of the head. I'm thinking, it's like you're blindfold running into a wall. I'm like, what? And I'm looking around thinking, who's that something at me? This guy punched me in the top of the head. It felt like it broke my neck.
Wow.
But I got up and beat it. But he and Carl, they were tearing lumps out of each other. So in hindsight, even though Carl may think, you know what, no, I'm the right champion, he wasn't. Because the people I boxed, he would have got turned over by most of them.
Yes.
And that's why I knew, you know what, this was my right place. And even winning the world title, my belly wasn't, my thirst wasn't quenched. I wanted more. It wasn't enough. I'm thinking, is that it? So I then knew I would never lose that title in the ring. As far as I was concerned, there's certain things you know in life. Like when I first met my wife, I didn't speak to her 2 years before I met her, and I knew and I said to my spine, I'm going to marry that girl. That was 2 years before we even spoke to each other. I saw her in the club. And 2 years before I said, I'm going to marry her to my spine. Nah, we married. You know, there's certain things you know.
Certain things you know, yes, absolutely.
There's certain things you instinctively know. It's a God-given. Certain things you know. Yes. And I knew that was my time. I knew I would never lose that belt in the ring. I knew that was mine.
Yep.
Until I'd done.
And you retired.
So when I went in and that's when I went in the ring, I knew I was coming out with that title. That was mine. I deserved it. Because I put the work in to expect the result.
Yes, sir. Retired undefeated.
Johnny Nelson, Britain's second longest reigning world champion in history. The man who's held joint consecutive world title defenses of the Cruiserweight crown. It was with him and Marco Huck. Marco Huck tried to beat it, but he lost.
But I can't respect Marco Huck.
Because you went.
I'm sorry, because Marco Huck never came out of Germany. And when I went out there, he was due to get his 13th defense, and so to match my defense, and then when I went out there to watch him, I'm like, this boy, he's just strong, but he's never boxed outside of Germany.
Yes.
And they got me in the ring. They flew me out there to celebrate him matching my record of defenses. And then they got me in the ring and interviewed him, and he said, what do you think? I said, Marco's a good fighter, you know, he's done really well, you want to be proud of him, blah, blah, blah. And then the interviewer asked me a stupid question. If you ask me the question, I'll give you the answer. He said, how would he have done against you? I said, he'd have probably got knocked out, but he's a strong kid.
I remember that.
The crowd went mad.
Yeah, I remember that.
So that was it. And so I knew. So then they talk about me and him fighting. Now listen, I said, I was fighting. Give me 6 months to get ready. I'm not coming back to fight as a career.
Yes.
I'm coming out to fight him. He's flat-footed. You can't miss him. I'd mad him up. And the second he boxes outside of Germany, he's going to lose.
Yes.
And so for 6 months it rambled on. We got to the stage where I think we offered him £500,000. He wanted all the TV rights. He wanted the sun, moon, and stars. The fight didn't happen. He ended up boxing America for $290,000
on a PBC
show. Offer, and he got beat.
Yeah,
he got beat up.
Yeah.
And exactly what I said after. And so basically, all you have to do is go the distance. And if he went the distance when he was in Germany, he'd win. So I can't respect his record of defences. And I might be he-bitching right now, but I can't respect that because I travelled the world and defended my title. He stayed on home turf. The second he came up home turf, he got turned over. Yes, so I can't respect that.
Well, Johnny, we got wind up now.
Fantastic.
Last thing I want to ask you for at this time of people going through the COVID, this pandemic, everything else, what words of encouragement would you have for our listeners?
You know, right now, the world is changing in so many different shapes and situations, socially, domestically, spiritually, it's changing on a massive level. Yes. And now this about time you've got to bring it back to roots. It's about family. Mm-hmm. It's about community. It's about thinking about the things that are important. Don't push yourself up about the things that we think is to conform to what we think is convention. It's about family. And it's you're gonna come back, and it's gonna make you. There's been enough people that have been locked down in the house with people they realise they don't like. Right?
Trust me.
You know what? And we use work as a distraction. We use running on there as a distraction. This is the time when people have now got to settle down and think, you know what? Let's go for a walk. Let's all eat together. Let's all do something together. Because unfortunately, households, people don't do that anymore. But now, it's about family. It's bringing us back to our roots, bringing us back to basics. To me, I'd love this.
You hear the fuckle? You hear the fuckle? It's like I'm in a Stone Love dance again. Come on, Johnny. Talk the thing.
I'm fortunate. I've got my ex-wife next door. We get on the good. We're still family.
Yes.
We know about today. No matter what, we are family.
Yes.
No matter what, we're family for life. And no matter who you with, what you're doing, we're family. Mm-hmm. As long as I've got, you've got. It don't matter who you with, what you're doing. You're my family. My daughters live next door to there. Jordan, my eldest daughter, she lives the other side of town. She's got my granddaughter. It's family.
Yes.
And to me, family is most important. And this, to me, this what's happened now, this lockdown, it's made me appreciate family. And I look at photos of my girls. I thank God. I thank God for the blessing He's given me. I thank God for it.
Excellent, Johnny.
Excellent, sir.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Have they called you Sir Johnny Nelson yet? Are you Sir?
No, he hasn't got MBE, but I'm putting it out there now. I'm gonna write in for Johnny Nelson.
Next year,
MBE.
Sir Johnny Nelson.
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
All right, Sir Johnny.
Come on. Johnny, believe me, I'm sorry to cut you again. Real honor, privilege. You know, Spencer's used to being around the stars. You know me. I'm used to being around the gangsters. But it's all changing. But that's what I'm saying. It's changing. Everything's changing around. It's a real honor for me again to have you on The Fight Is Right first show. And there's got to be a bit of spiritualism to that. Having the great Sir Johnny Nelson on the first show, The Fight Is Right, since COVID. Yep. It's all love. Thank you for your words, sir.
And blessing us. Thank you very much,
I really appreciate it.
Knowledge, man, and Mr. T, big respect. Thank you, bud. Thanks for having me on the show. Thank you so
Johnny.
much.
Love you.
Blessed.
Love.
Yeah, man.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the Stamina for Sale YouTube channel.